Hey guys, a happy Tuesday. It is February 21st. It's time to make some freaking money. This is Puck It with Joe, and we're going to be talking all 9 games on the ice. Big shout out to Joe. Thank you for being here. I can't believe you parlayed those two together. So happy to see you grabbing a Kansas plus a 2.5 and the Winnipeg Jets, having faith in them. Now, I did have another person take the Winnipeg Jets on the reverse puck line. Love to hear that as well. Taylor, welcome to the show. James, nice to see your face popping around here, your name popping up. It's definitely going to be a good day, you guys. Let's make some freaking money, Mike. You are right. So 9 games on the ice today. And I tell you, I got so much snow last night. My sidewalk is shoveled, and literally the snow is up to here on me on either side of my driveway. Thankfully, I can get in and out and get my Starbucks. And that's about all I'm going out for these days. But got minus temperatures coming. It's going to feel cold as ice, but let's make some freaking money so we can all be hot on our picks. Let's do that, you guys. Huge slate tonight. Let's get right to it. You're right, Mike. So 9 games on the ice. We're going to start off the first one with the Anaheim Ducks and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now the Lightning coming in as massive favorites in this minus 530 here on the money line. We got a total of 6.5. Now, Andre Vasilevsky expected here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. We know this team has lost their last 2 games. They're going to give it hell in this game. That last game they lost was versus the Vegas Golden Knights, 5-4 loss on Saturday. Now, they have the Sabres on deck on Thursday. This is their first home game off a 4-game road trip. You guys know how I feel about teams returning home off of road trips. This is a lot to ask them to cover. Can they cover it? Absolutely. Is there value for me taking the Tampa Bay Lightning minus 2.5 at minus 120 on that puck line? Not really. The last time these teams played, we saw a 4-2 win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, yes, the Ducks are not a good team here. Dostal expected in goal. He's got a 3.99. They've lost their last 5 games. They had an overtime loss versus the Panthers. This team has been digging so deep. That was a 4-3 OT loss. Now they got the Capitals on deck Thursday and then the Canes on Saturday. So their schedule isn't getting any easier. They have also struggled versus the Tampa Bay Lightning, going 1-5 straight up in the last 6 meetings and 2-7 in the last 9 meetings in Tampa Bay. What I think is the best way to take this one is look at that over 6.5. Yes, I do think the Ducks can score and add to this total in this one. I was going to take the Lightning's team total. It's 4.5. I just didn't like the value I was getting. I do think we'll see the Ducks with Tampa coming in off that road trip. We'll see these goals coming in. So give me the over 6.5 in this one. If you're looking for a straight player prop to take in this, Braden Point here for that anytime goal for the Tampa Bay Lightning, or his shots on goal over 4. Now you have to take it all the way up to 4 to get value. Then it's a plus 126. But we know the Ducks, one of those teams that allow 5 million shots on goal per game at 39.5 shots on goal. So Dostal is going to have to stand on his head. He is going to allow in these goals today. The Ducks should be able to add 1 or 2. And even if Tampa runs away with this and gets 6 goals and we only see 1 out of the Ducks, I will be happy because, like I said, going to ride that over 6.5. Putting $2 on the Ducks, and I don't blame you. Tampa is off a road trip here. It definitely, if you got an extra $2 sitting around in your account, you're going to turn that into more. So if they can cash it out. So let's go, you guys. It's a great day to make some freaking money. The next game on the ice, we have the Detroit Red Wings taking on the Washington Capitals. Now, we all know the struggles the Washington Capitals have had without Ovechkin in goal. This team needs a win, and they need it bad. They've lost their last 4 games. It's not something we're used to saying about the Washington Capitals. So they are sitting now 28, 24, 4-2 on the season. And the Red Wings rolling in here on a nice little hot streak before their loss to the Kraken. They are now 26, 21, 5-3 on the season. Kemper and Husso expected. We got solid goaltending in this one. I got to go immediately to the under 6 in this game. We've seen the Red Wings playing well, but they've really struggled in Washington too. And this is their last game of a road trip. So I think this is one where we can see the Washington Capitals, even though Ovechkin is still not in the lineup, be able to pull this off. I'm looking at them in regulation at plus 102, and I think there is so much value here on a really solid team that's lost their last 4 games. This team is going to be so hungry to get the win. They're coming in on a couple days rest, which is one really weird thing to look at. The Capitals are not solid on a couple of days rest, so to take that into account, 0-5 in their last 5 games playing on 2 days rest. I don't love that stat. But the Red Wings come in here 7-19 in the last 26 meetings versus the Washington Capitals and 3-11 in their last 14 meetings in Washington. I think you combine with how the Red Wings have played in Washington with the fact this is their last game of a road trip. They lost that last game to the Kraken on Saturday 4-2. This team is ready to go home. This has been a long road trip for them. And then the Capitals just so hungry to get that win. No look-ahead situation here for the Capitals. They lost that last game to the Carolina Hurricanes. They got the Ducks on deck at home on Thursday. So there is no look-ahead at all. We have seen trends to that road team, though, just to note that as well. 5-2 in the last 7 meetings. But I do think the under, phenomenal way to go with this one. If the Washington Capitals want to win this, they have to be able to lock down the Red Wings offense. And I think the defense of the Capitals will be able to do that in this. They're only lined that 2.9 and 30.3 shots on goal. The unders hit in 4 of the last 5 meetings. Yeah, Carlson also out. The Caps really need to dig deep to get this win. You can't trust the Wings. I just can't trust the Wings in this situation on the last day of a road trip. That is actually, Johnny, Wings in the first period, puck line. 16-0 has cash. Congratulations on that one. I just don't trust the Red Wings tonight. So best of luck with that. The next game at 7 o'clock. We have the Montreal Canadiens taking on the New Jersey Devils. In this matchup, we see another huge favorite with the Devils. Jack Hughes is back in the lineup. You guys know I like him for that anytime goal for the New Jersey Devils, coming in at minus 102. Sam Montembeault is confirmed in here for Montreal. Now, Montreal with Sam Montembeault is a team that I look more at betting when he is in that. Now, Vanek expected here for the New Jersey Devils, which we know is such a stronger goalie than Sam Montembeault. But I do think Sam Montembeault has an opportunity to keep this one tight. Don't call me crazy. The Canucks have struggled versus the Red Wings. We've seen, my phone. Can I just turn the volume on my phone off, you guys? Otherwise, I am going to hear this noise all day and not be able to think. Okay, there we go. So looking at the Montreal Canadiens versus the New Jersey Devils, okay, we've seen the Montreal Canadiens, they've lost their last 2 games. They lost that last one to the Leafs. They're not playing good hockey. They're sitting 8th in the Atlantic, and we have the New Jersey Devils sitting 2nd in the Metro. They won their last 2 games. They got the Jets on Sunday that they lost, or they won 4-2. They got the Kings on deck on Thursday. So it's not close enough for me to think this would be any kind of look ahead. They've won their last 6 games. Now, while I do flirt with taking Montreal on that puck line at plus 1.5 at plus 125, I really can't get there. I do like what we've seen out of Sam Montembeault, and I think he's a strong goalie, and so is Vanek. But I think in this game, I just can't take Montreal against this Devils team. You look at the Devils, they are 11-17 at home on that puck line. Montreal has been solid at 14-13, but I think this is one that is going to be a bad situation for the Montreal Canadiens here. So if I'm going to bet this one, it is taking the New Jersey Devils on the puck line and laying the 1.5. I think it's the only way I can get behind this one. And that's all I'm going to take. I would also take that first period over 1.5. We know with strong goalies like Vanek, we can see these teams come out nice and strong. You're going to take the Canadiens on the money line. Yeah, I hear you. When Vegas is getting all the money on there, it definitely is a hard way to go. Devils in the puck line, let's ride. And Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes has just been a moneymaker for us, you guys. So that's where I have to go with. Vanek is coming out at 24.5. Can Montreal get off these shots? That's a really good question. So Montreal is averaging 27.9 shots on goal per game. And we have the New Jersey Devils only allowing that 28.7. I look for the New Jersey Devils to really come out strong defensively in this one. So I would say Vanek would go under that number. I really just don't see Montreal getting enough shots to do this. I would think Montreal would get 26 shots on goal, have 2 go in this game. The number is 24.5. It's right on that number. So I would lean to the under. 24.5 save shots on goal in that one. The next game on the board, the St. Louis Blues taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Now the Blues coming in as a large dog at plus 275. We have the Canes minus 350. Total 6.5. Jordan Binnington expected here for the St. Louis Blues and Frederik Andersen for the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, both of these teams averaging over 3 goals per game. The main standout is looking at the Carolina Hurricanes' ability to get these shots on goal, averaging that 34.9 shots on goal per game. And looking at the defenses, Carolina much stronger defensively, while the St. Louis Blues averaging almost 4 goals allowed per game at 3.64 and 32.1 shots on goal. Carolina is holding opponents to 2.64 and only 26.4 shots on goal. First overall in the league. Their defense is playing absolutely phenomenal. Now, St. Louis rolls in here, losing their last 2 games. Their last game was to the Senators, in which they allowed 7 goals and only put up 3. And we have Carolina rolling in here, winning their last 3 games. They had the Capitals on Saturday that they beat 4-1. They had the Senators on deck Friday. There is no real look ahead in this one. We've got not divisional opponents. We got the Blues 6 in the Central and the Canes sitting first in the Metro. Now, the Blues have struggled versus the Canes, only winning 1 of the last 5 meetings. And we've seen huge advantages to that home team, with the home team winning 5 of the last 7 meetings. Now, the Blues are really strong in a 3 and 4 day situation, going 7 and 3 in the last 10 in this case. But this, I tell you, I thought I really turned that volume off. That's what I was doing. That's what I really expect in this one, is for the Canes to control this game. I think the St. Louis Blues, they're a team that I just can't trust right now. They're not playing great hockey. They've lost their last 4 games on the road. They've lost their last 2 overall. They haven't played well against the Carolina Hurricanes. So I think this is a Canes game all day long. So then it becomes, where am I going to find that value? Well, taking the Blues on the puck line is an interesting way if you think they can keep it tight. At plus 1.5, you're getting that at plus 120. Not sure if I can get there. And looking at the Canes on that puck line at home, they're 10 and 17. So this is, again, another team that doesn't blow teams out of the water. What I expect in this one is I do lean on the over for the full game. With strong goaltending, though, I'm going to look at that first period, over 1.5. It's not too highly juiced at minus 132. And I do think if we see the goals allowed in by Frederik Andersen and Jordan Binnington, it comes nice and hard and fast in that first period. So give me the first period over 1.5 at minus 132. And like I said, I lean over. I'm going to look at Sebastian Aho here. I love the player props in games like this, where we have a huge favorite, looking at someone who I really think can have the ability to get the goal tonight. I think Sebastian Aho for the anytime goal at plus 118 is money. Now, if you like his shots on goal tonight, it is rather juicy. You're going to have to buy it up to about a 4, over 4 shots on goal to get any value with it. Okay. Going to use the Canes under in a parlay. I don't blame you with that. Carolina in 60, only way you could find value. Yeah, I don't hate that there. I don't think the Blues push this one to OT. My fear is if this is a super low scoring one and the St. Louis Blues pull, like if this one is tied 1-1 apiece and St. Louis pulls their goalie, pulls Jordan Binnington, gets the no, actually, I don't even think. If they're tied up, if somehow they tie it up, these teams likely to push it to overtime. If you guys understand the point system in hockey, the loser in overtime still gets a point. So teams pushing games to OT is a huge thing right now. The winner gets 2 points. The losing team gets a loser point, and they still get 1. So interesting there. Okay, next game on the board. the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Buffalo Sabres. Now, this should be a fun one. I'm looking for a lot of goals in this. We have a total of 6.5. Toronto minus 178 coming in here, and Buffalo plus 146. Now, I would like Buffalo a lot more in this situation if we didn't see the Toronto Maple Leafs coming off a loss to the Chicago Blackhawks. This is when I'm kicking myself like 500 times that I didn't end up taking the Chicago Blackhawks on that money line. I just couldn't get there with them. I couldn't lose more money with the Chicago Blackhawks. They lost it 5-3. They have the Wild on deck on Friday, so it's a further out game. Now, Buffalo coming in here, like again expected. They've won their last 2. Saturday, they beat the Sharks 4-2. They're returning home off a 3-game road trip, though. So this is one thing to look at. And this is a one-off home game on the road. And then they're back on the road on Thursday versus the Lightning, then the Panthers on Friday. So this scheduling spot for the Panthers is absolutely terrible. Or sorry, for the Buffalo Sabres is absolutely terrible. With a road game, one-off home game coming off a road trip, I don't like it at all. So this is a game where I want to get behind Toronto. So trying to find value with Toronto here. So they're rolling in at minus 178. They're sitting second in the Atlantic. This is a battle of the Atlantic with the Buffalo Sabres sitting 5th. Now, the last time these two teams played, we saw Toronto win it 5-2 in Toronto. They opened that game with 3 goals in that first period. I think we can count on a high-scoring first period out of both of these teams. Now, the Leafs have struggled in Buffalo. This is something you have to keep in mind. They've had issues here. But again, Buffalo is in a weird scheduling spot, off a road trip, 1 home game, back out on the road for their next game. I don't like it here. So I think Toronto can break that trend of how poorly they have played in Buffalo. They've gone 16-38 and 2 in the last 56 meetings in Buffalo. So I'm going to look for both teams to score in that first period. It's coming in at plus 134. We know the Buffalo Sabres can score a ton of goals, and we know Toronto is able to too. With both teams to score, you're paying you're getting plus 134. If you took the over 1.5, it's so highly juiced, you guys, at minus 174. And that's why I'm looking for both teams to contribute in that first period. Now, we have seen the Buffalo Sabres fail to cover that puck line as a home underdog in their last 4 games in this situation. So taking Toronto, laying the 1.5 on the road here, I don't hate. I just don't know if I'll get there. I'm going to look at a couple other ways to take this. I'm going to lean over for the full game. It's coming in a little juicy at minus 140, but I do think it comes in. I'm also going to take both teams to score in the first period. That's at plus 134. I'm going to look at Ryan O'Reilly. We got to keep going back to Ryan O'Reilly to get that anytime goal. I think it does happen in this game versus the Buffalo Sabres. I see little defense being played by the Buffalo Sabres in this game. They average that 3.7 goals per game and allow 3.44 and 32.5 shots on goal. Toronto is going to be mad at themselves after coming off that loss to Chicago. So expect the goals to come in this one. Yeah, Joe, Chicago is a hard one to trust. That is for sure. James, definitely over. A hell for that anytime goal you're getting at a plus 120. I absolutely love it. Joe, nice little parlay you have there. I wish you all the best in that parlay. The over 6.5, Leafs control the game. And yeah, I think the Leafs do control the game. I think this is a good one if you really do believe in the Toronto Maple Leafs here, to trust them here on this puck line. I'm just not sure if I'm ready to pull the trigger on that. I'm hoping a little bit more money comes in on this game and we see a little bit of line movement. So let's look at the next one. The LA Kings taking on the Minnesota Wild. I'm excited for this game, you guys. We got a total of 6, and I'm backing the dog in the LA Kings. Copley is expected in goal. He's got a 2.7 goals against average, and Gustafsson here for the Minnesota Wild. He has a 2.16. Now, when we look at this Kings team, they have been so strong this season. I look for them to win the faceoffs in this matchup. They're averaging that 3.34 goals per game and 32.4 shots on goal. Minnesota Wild, on the other hand, they're not getting the shots needed and converting these shots into goals. They're only averaging 2.88 goals per game and 31.5 shots on goal. Now, defensively, yes, the Wild are a stronger defensive team. They really like to hang back and shut down these games defensively, only allowing that 2.82 goals per game and 30.1 shots on goal. The LA Kings, on the other hand, they let the goals slip. They're allowing that 3.37 and 28.8 shots on goal. So they're doing a great job at limiting those shots, getting those block shots, but they are slipping past. Now, Copley is expected, and he was the goalie that we saw try to start a fight, throw his helmet off in that one game. He did get suspended for the rest of that game, taken off the ice. We did see Jonathan Quick in net for one game. So I think Copley should come out level-headed in this game, look to get a little bit of redemption. I love the LA Kings here. Plus money on that money line at plus 105. Everyone and their dog is also on the Minnesota Wild, which I absolutely love going against everyone. You guys know that. The Wild have won their last 2 games. The Preds on Sunday, they got that 4-3 win. Road game. 2 games on Thursday, road trip ahead. So I think this is a nice one. Last game at home for them here. Now, looking at the LA Kings, they have won their last 4. A last win was a shootout win. That was over the Coyotes 6-5 on a Saturday, the first game of a 5-game road trip. So they're going to want to get things started the right way here. They have struggled in Minnesota, though, so I'm looking for them to break these trends. They're coming in nice and rested. So on 2 days rest, this team is solid as well. And you guys, I have to go with the over because if I trust in the Kings to get this win, we got a total here at 6. I think they do it sloppily. They get a higher scoring win in this game, and it goes over that total. I think we see the Wild allow these goals to come in. Now, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on who you think is a better goalie for the Minnesota Wild, Gustafsson or Marc-Andre Fleury. I've always thought it was Marc-Andre Fleury, but we've seen mistakes out of him as of late. So Gustafsson coming in here is an interesting one. Now, you can look at the team total of the LA Kings, and that's something that I put in my notes. Look at the juice you're paying on the team total of the LA Kings because I do think they get a minimum of 3 goals in this one. And I'm assuming, yeah, it is 2.5. So over 2.5 is minus 145. And I don't hate that. I do think the Kings will get over 2.5 goals in this on the Minnesota Wild. I think the Minnesota Wild are vulnerable in some situations. So give me the over 6. Give me the Kings on the money line. And I think the first period, I probably wouldn't touch in this one. Yeah, defense does win cups. Defense is absolutely phenomenal. We're going to see a trend to these hockey games becoming lower for sure. Lower scoring, but I don't see it happening in this one. I think the Kings have what it takes in this game. Okay, looking at the next game on the board, let's get moving, you guys. Huge slate today. The Vancouver Canucks taking on the Nashville Predators. Delia expected in goal for the Vancouver Canucks. He's got a 3.48, and Saros expected here for the Nashville Predators. He's got a 2.82. Which team do I trust more? I trust the Nashville Predators more than the Vancouver Canucks. Well, the Nashville Predators are on a high-scoring team. Their defense still allowing those goals to come in. The Vancouver Canucks have just been an absolute mess. So Preds aren't a great team. They're 26-22, 5-1 on the season. But the Vancouver Canucks, a worse team, they're 22-30, 3-1 on the season. I just can't trust this team. Now, they are off a win versus the Flyers. That was a 6-2 win. This is their first game on the road. They have the Blues on Thursday. But this team is not strong on the road. They've lost their last 6 following a win as well. And they're hard to play. They're hard to bet here. So they're coming in at plus 134. And I just can't get there with the Vancouver Canucks. And I wish I could. Because we look at the Predators, and I don't think they're in a perfect situation here either. They are 1-4 in their last 5 in the third game of a 3-4 situation, which they are in. So we're going to see tired legs out of the Nashville Predators here. They are off a loss to the Minnesota Wild. That was a 4-3 loss. Now, the Minnesota Wild are a much better team than the Vancouver Canucks. Yes, this is a one-off home game here, though. I don't like their scheduling. I think this is a poor scheduling situation for the Nashville Predators. So When I look at this, what do I trust most? Well, I trust the Predators more than I trust the Vancouver Canucks because the Vancouver Canucks defense is absolutely struggling. But we've seen the Predators defense struggle as well, allowing an average of 3 goals per game and 33.8 shots on goal. Now, they have a really strong penalty kill, which is excellent. But looking at the Vancouver Canucks, their problem has never been scoring. This team has been able to get the goals. They were only held to 2 versus the Flyers. And I think we see them get 3 goals in this one. Now, when we look at them, they average 3.36 goals per game and 30.6 shots on goal. Taking them over 2.5 is juiced at -150. But if I had to bet something in this game, that's where I'd go. This is a game I don't absolutely love. I think you could lean on the full game over 6.5 as well. 11 of the last 14 meetings have hit that over. So give me a higher scoring one here. Give me Vancouver over that 3.5. You can look at the Predators over their team total of 3.5. Sorry, Vancouver is 2.5 as well. I just think higher scoring. I just can't trust Vancouver on the road. Preds and Canucks over. Johnny going with the over as well. We definitely have a higher scoring one in that. Now, 8:30 Eastern, we have the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. We have Boris. I can't even say his name. We have a new goalie up for Vegas. Now, he's come up from the AHL. When we look at him, he was 8-11-3 in the AHL with a 2.72 goals against average. You spell his name, Borsot, Oit. Now, he is confirmed in goal tonight. The Chicago Blackhawks expected to start Peter Moretz here. He's got a 3.95 goals against average. Looking at Vegas, they're so phenomenally strong at limiting their time in the penalty box, which I think is absolutely phenomenal for a team. Now, this team has been up and down all season dealing with injuries, but they are sitting first in the Pacific, and we have Chicago sitting 8th in the Central. Looking at this game, with a goalie just brought up from the AHL, I do expect the goals to come in this game. But my question here to myself is, do I trust the Chicago Blackhawks plus 1.5 at -105 on that money line with this, or on that puck line with the sprinkle on the money line? We look at Vegas. They failed to cover the puck line in their last 9 games as a favorite. So they're not coming in, and they're not, against teams which are on winning streaks. So Chicago, not only known for being on a winning streak, but they have lost their last 2 games. They're the big win over the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-3 on a Sunday. They've got the Stars on deck tomorrow. So this is their first leg of a back-to-back. Chicago can't look past anyone. They can't be like, oh, I'm going to play the Stars harder tomorrow. They got to get a win anywhere they can. So I'm not looking at them to look ahead to the Stars. Now, they've covered the puck line as a home underdog in their last 4. So I do think I'm going to take a chance, even though Joe reminded me, you can't trust the Chicago Blackhawks anymore. They lose you money. They absolutely do. But I do think this is a situation against Vegas, who, while they're really strong, they've been inconsistent in different situations. They've let games go that they really should get wins, even when all the trends have pointed in their direction to take that team. Now, the Blackhawks are 5-2 in the last 7 games, so they have been getting these wins. The Knights 6-2 in their last 8, 4-0 in their last 4, and 15-4 in their last 19. Vegas is the better team. I do think, though, that Chicago digs deep. We got an AHL goalie coming in here for Vegas, and they're able to keep it tight. Yeah, it's a good game to stay off. I honestly think it's a good game to stay off. We don't have to bet all 9 games on the ice. That is the beauty of it, you guys. No one forcing you to bet these games. Pick and choose your spots based on where you want to bet. Don't be afraid to bet against your team. Remember that. Sometimes we know our team and we know our weaknesses better than anything. And it's not a bad thing to make money off your team losing. I'm learning that with Calgary. Telling myself, pumping myself up to bet against Calgary again for their next game. Now, the Philadelphia Flyers, actually, I am betting against Calgary for their next game because they have a much harder opponent on deck after that next game. Philadelphia Flyers and the Edmonton Oilers, 9 o'clock Eastern. This is our last game of the night. Carter Hart expected here For the Flyers, he's got a 2.88 goals against average. And talk about Calgary. They just beat Calgary in that 4-3 win. That was yesterday. It was a day game. This is their last game of a 4-game road trip. Now, Edmonton coming in here as a huge favorite at -315. Skinner expected in goal for them. Now, they've lost their last 4 games. Overtime loss to the Colorado Avalanche on Sunday, 6-5. The last 3 games, too, have gone outside of regulation. So Edmonton just building up these loser points in those games. I love to take a jab at Edmonton when I can. Last game, overtime with the Avs. The prior 2 did go to shootout. Edmonton is getting up hard and fast in these games. I recommend you guys. I do think with the Flyers on a back-to-back, this is going to be a hard one. If Edmonton comes out and does exactly what they've done in the last couple games, going up really fast in that first period, it's a good place to take them firstly in the first period on the puck line to get a nice win in the first period. And actually, let's pull up the odds on that because this is one bet I'm going to be putting in right after because I forgot to get it in. Edmonton in the first period. We're going to take them on that puck line. At -0.5 in the first period, they're +100. So we're taking a -315 favorite to a +100 on the puck line in the first period at that -0.5. Edmonton has been getting up hard and strong. They are not playing a complete 60 minutes. They're getting these wins in the first period, and then these other teams are coming back. It is a prime opportunity to jump on if the Philadelphia Flyers are playing strong enough where you believe they're going to keep going during this game. As soon as we get them +2.5, +3.5, you can jump on the Flyers with that plus money. Edmonton has shown us in these last 3 games, they've gone up and they've even lost. Now, this is something I can't stress a lot or enough. Taking that team that is down that you do believe can win this game is going to make you money overall on the season. Now, do I think the Philadelphia Flyers can win this? I think this is a hard case. So this wouldn't be one that I'd be betting the Philadelphia Flyers with the plus money once they go down in that first period. But if you're watching a team like we saw the New York Rangers and the Avs do this, teams that are phenomenally strong against the Edmonton Oilers to come back. At one point, you could get the Avs plus 3.5 on that puck line for plus money. They outright won the game. At one point, they were plus 800 underdogs. So you guys, I'm going to keep reminding you of this for everyone new live betting these games in hockey. Dave Sharapan talked about it. It was 42 or 42.5% or 45.2% of these teams in that first period coming back to get the win. It's been hitting. So something to always consider live betting these games. I really do think this one, you just got to ride the over 7. I think it's the best bet in this. We know Edmonton can come out and crush it. The over 1.5 in the first period is way too highly juiced. I don't trust the Philadelphia Flyers enough to take both teams to score in that first period. But at a total of 7, I think this one can hit 8 in this game. We know the Flyers have been able to put up the goals. They put up the goals on Calgary, not saying much, though. Calgary stinks at the moment. But the Oilers' defense and goaltending has not been good either. Give me over 7. You can look at the Flyers team total if you trust in them. I do think Edmonton's team total is in play as well if you just trust in Edmonton tonight. Edmonton hasn't had a problem scoring. They've been getting these goals. They've been getting the majority of them in the first period. But like I said, Edmonton in that first period on that puck line at plus 100, I think is a prime opportunity to make money. And I definitely love this bet today. So you guys, we're going to recap these. I'm just going to look at your comments here, see what you guys are saying. But yeah, keep track of the live betting of these games. I've been realizing how much money I've lost not always keeping track when I've seen the teams down after Dave Sharapan told me that stat. It's unbelievably mind-blowing what these teams can come back and do. So let me just grab my pad of paper. I know a lot of people asking for my intro at the start to be shorter. I'm trying to get that intro shorter, you guys, but sometimes it's just, it's me trying to find a pen on my desk and my pad of paper which the dog steals all the pens, the Chihuahua. So we got a pen today. We can get this done. Let's recap. Let's build this parlay and let's make some freaking money, you guys. Okay, the Anaheim Ducks and the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is another one. If Tampa all of a sudden gets up crazy and you can get the Anaheim Ducks, right now they're plus 2.5, which I kind of lean on, but the Lightning's such a better team. If you can get the Ducks plus 3.5, plus 4.5, take a chance, grab them plus those points. I don't think the Lightning blow them out by 4 goals in this one. It could be an interesting game, but I do think the over 6.5 is the best way to take this. So the Ducks and the Lightning over 6.5. I think the first period we could see go over 1.5, 2, if you guys like betting those first periods. And then I'm going to take Braden points. Shots on goal over 4 in this one. We are getting plus money with him over 4. It's at plus 126. I think we can count on him for that anytime goal as well. So give me the over 6.5 in the parlay. Again, I'll recap this parlay at the very, very end here. The Detroit Red Wings and the Washington Capitals. The Caps in regulation, you guys, is one of my favorite bets of the day. I think the Capitals can get things done. I know Ovechkin is still out, but I look at Detroit in their situation last game of a road trip. I think this team is ready to go home. Yes, they want this win, but they have absolutely struggled in Washington. So give me Washington on the money line for the parlay and give me them in regulation for a straight up bet. And I think that one does stay under the total of 6. I'm looking for Washington's defense to really control this game. Now, the Montreal Canadiens and the New Jersey Devils, I've gone back and forth, and honestly, I have gone back and forth with this game. I do think this is one where Sam Montemute makes a huge impact for the Montreal Canadiens, but I just can't see them keeping this one tight with the New Jersey Devils. I wish they would, because I love seeing when Montreal comes out competitive, especially with Sam Montemute, but I don't think it's going to happen. The last game was a 5-1 win for the New Jersey Devils, and I think they can cover that puck line again. I'm not going to throw New Jersey on the puck line into the parlay, but I do like them separately to bet that outside of it. I think the over 6.5 is the best way to take this. So Montreal and the Devils over 6.5 in this game. New Jersey, again, like I said, I think they can cover that puck line. Jack Hughes for the anytime goal, I absolutely love tonight. We've seen phenomenal things out of Jack Hughes. Now, the St. Louis Blues and the Carolina Hurricanes. Sebastian Aho for that anytime goal from the Canes. Definitely where I'm going at plus 118. Now, the first period over 1.5. I think both of these teams score early and fast in this one. I want to take Carolina here on the puck line. I just can't trust it. I like the value better that we're getting with the St. Louis Blues to keep it tight. But again, I can't trust the St. Louis Blues. This is a game that I absolutely don't love. I think it's a really hard game here. If Carolina was less juiced, I could look at them on the puck line, but they're minus 350 straight up on the puck line. I don't find the value at taking a team that is only 10-17 at home. But that being said, I can't get behind the Blues. So give me the first period with the Blues and the Canes over 1.5. That is coming in at minus 132, you guys. So I would do that straight up as well as within the parlays. So then the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Buffalo Sabres, another first period over at minus 174. I'm going to throw that into the parlay, the Leafs and the Sabres over 1.5 in the first period. But for a straight up bet, what I really like here is the Maple Leafs and the Sabres, both teams to score. That takes it from a minus 174 for the over 1.5. For both teams to get a goal in that first period is plus 134. And I absolutely, you know it, love that plus money. The over 6.5, I think, is absolutely in play for this one too. So I think we have a great game here. And I think it's a high scoring. Now look at Ryan O'Reilly for his points tonight, his shots on goal, his anytime goal. I think Ryan O'Reilly will be looking to come out nice and strong in this one. Actually, let's take the Sabres and the Leafs in the parlay over 6.5 for the full game. I actually trust that a little bit more than that first period, but I think that first period easily comes in for both teams getting a goal. The LA Kings and the Minnesota Wild. Give me the Kings. Give me the Kings all day. I'm going to throw the Kings into the parlay. I trust it the most. I know a lot of you like the Wild. If you don't like the Kings on the money line here, you could take the Kings and the Wild over 6. I know a lot of you don't like that either, but I do think this is a Kings game in which they can get the win. And if they get the win, this one's going over the total. I don't see it being a 4-0 kind of game here for the Kings. I could see this being a 4-3 game. I think both teams really fight hard in this one. The Vancouver Canucks and the Nashville Predators. I'm going to take the Canucks in the parlay, their team total over 2.5. That's at minus 150, so I wouldn't bet it straight up. I think the full game over 6.5 is a great way to go. We know the Predators do struggle a little bit to get those goals, but the Vancouver Canucks give up so many. The Canucks don't have a problem scoring, so that's why I trust their team total over the most in this game. The Vegas Golden Knights and the Chicago Blackhawks. This one, oh my God, I'm so confused with this one. I really want to take Chicago here on the money line. Like I said before, I didn't bet the last game. I'm sick of losing money with the Chicago Blackhawks. This is a game where Vegas is such a better team, but they're minus 310 coming into this. We have Chicago at plus 345. Taking them plus 1.5 on that puck line, I think is the only way I'm actually going to bet this, because we are getting it at minus 105. So give me for the parlay plus 1.5 on that puck line for the Chicago Blackhawks. They better not let me down tonight. And the Philadelphia Flyers and the Edmonton Oilers, you guys. We know Edmonton can score. We know that the Philadelphia Flyers have been able to score as of late too. Give me Edmonton and the Flyers over 7. Yes, I am liking overs today. Not normally liking these overs. So I think the other best bet is Edmonton in the first period on that puck line at minus 0.5 at plus 100. I actually cannot believe how much value we are getting with that one. So the long shot parlay, to recap for all you guys that stuck around for all of this, thank you for being here, by the way. Appreciate each and every one of you. If you can hit that like, hit that subscribe, really appreciate it. And next time, my phone won't be making these noises. I don't know what's happening. So the long shot parlay, the Ducks and the Lightning over 6.5. The Washington Capitals on the money line, the Montreal Canadiens and the New Jersey Devils over 6.5, the Blues and the Canes first period over 1.5, the Leafs and the Sabres over 6.5, the Kings on the money line. If you don't like the Kings on the money line, I'd look at the over for the Kings and the Wild. The Canucks team total over 2.5, the Blackhawks plus 1.5 on the puck line, and the Edmonton Oilers and the Flyers over 7. Now, my 3 favorite bets of the day are the Washington Capitals in regulation, the Maple Leafs and the Sabres, both teams to score. Both teams to score in the first period at plus 134. Yeah, chasing that plus money, you guys. And then Edmonton, first period on the puck line at minus 0.5 at plus 100. Caution with Edmonton. Always remember they are not at the moment playing a full 60 minutes. If even you see Edmonton go down in the first period, they play one period really strong. So if they go down in the first period and we see the Philadelphia Flyers go up by 2 or 3 goals, it's a prime time to take Edmonton plus whatever on that puck line, because they will dig back. They decide if they play in the first or the third period. As of late, they've been playing in the first. They haven't been playing in the second or the third. So that is what is up with them, you guys. As for player props, Braden Point of the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight for the anytime goal. I love Jack Hughes for the anytime goal, and Jack Hughes is with the Devils, and Sebastian Aho of the Canes. So those are my 3 player props that I absolutely love. As for goalie props, you guys, not a lot of confirmations coming out here where I could really look at these numbers before. So yeah, we'll stay off of those. If you guys want to know any goalie props, just drop a message below and I'll let you know if I end up getting on any of these goalie props. But thank you so much for being here on Puck It with Joe. It is Tuesday, February 21st. I will be back on Wednesday, February 22nd at 3:30 Eastern. We are daily during the weekdays at 3:30 Eastern. Now, if you want to know when it's coming out on the weekend, it's always sometime, somewhere. So hit that subscribe button so that you know I try to get these games or the videos up before the games go off. And I love doing it live with you guys. I love the interaction with everything. So I appreciate each and every one of you for being here in the comments each and every day. I see your names pop up. And I can't wait. Maybe one day in Vegas, we'll all hang out and talk about these games live before they kick off. But I appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Keep smiling. Let's make some freaking money. Again, drop what you're betting so everyone can tell you guys. I love to hear about you guys making some money as well. So have a good one. Keep smiling. Let's make some freaking money. And be safe out there. Stay warm, everyone. Bye, guys.